How to be more outgoing and confident. If you're somebody who wants to take your career to the next level and you have frequent meetings with executives and you notice yourself introverted, maybe a little bit shy, and you really do know that it's important for you to have career growth by speaking out in meetings, then this is the video for you. I'm going to be sharing with you 4 truths on how to be outgoing and confident, because there's a lot of information on the internet. And oftentimes, if you're somebody who's been browsing the internet, Googling, how do I develop the skill set? And you're finding that it's not quite helpful. I'm trying to apply it, I'm taking notes, but it's still not getting me to the level of outgoingness that I want to achieve. Then I want to share with you 4 truths on how you can understand what it means to be outgoing and what it means to combine both outgoing and confidence so that you can achieve it for yourself and have the meaningful relationships in the workplace. So take a walk with me and let's talk about this. So let's talk about what does it mean to be outgoing, right? Outgoing is a characteristic. It is a human characteristic, and it is a trait as well. Some people describe it as a quality that an individual can have. But the characteristic of being outgoing means that there is a characteristic of expressiveness. There is a habit, there is an ease with expressiveness, self-expression. It could be expressing of ideas, it could be expressing complex thoughts or sharing wisdom, but it is a quality of expressiveness. Now, when you combine outgoing with confidence, then it means being able to do so, being able to express oneself without being overly concerned about what other people think. Right? So I want to share with you 4 truths on how you can achieve that for yourself. Because remember, outgoingness is not necessarily a skill, it is a characteristic. But this speaks more towards who you become as a person. Not so much, do I need to develop certain skill sets, but this is who you become as a person. Right? So these are 4 truths on how you become confident and also outgoing as well. And the first truth, I'm just going to dive right into it. Truth number 1, the first truth is that you are outgoing in the areas that are aligned with your highest values. Let me repeat that again. You are outgoing in the areas that are already aligned with your highest values. Think about this for a moment. Meditate on it. Think about things that are important to you, things that you are naturally inspired by, things that whenever you are inspired by them and you are interested in it, you're genuinely inspired by talking about these things as well. Right? And it could be for you, it could be, for example, there is a certain genre of movie that you are very inspired by, or it could be that there's a certain subject matter or subject area that you are quite inspired by, and you naturally are interested in it, and you spent a lot of time delving into it, studying it, learning it, reading about it, and so on. You're going to notice that every area in which it is naturally your highest value, you are also going to be outgoing in it, which means that you have a degree of expressiveness, which means that you are able to talk about it and you generally like to talk about it, which also means that when you're around your family and friends that you tend to bring that subject up. So here's the thing, the principle, the takeaway that you can learn from this is that when it comes to the quality of outgoingness, being outgoing, we all have it. And we have it the most in the areas in our highest values, which means that it's not that you are not outgoing. That was a double negative, so let me rephrase that. You are outgoing. You have the capability of being outgoing. In fact, you have been outgoing in certain circumstances around certain topic areas, and these are more likely aligned with your highest values. So this is a mindset shift that you need to make as well. In terms of, oftentimes we're in our career paths and we desire to take things to the next level, and we compare ourselves with our colleagues and we're thinking that, well, I'm not outgoing, so-and-so is outgoing, I need to be outgoing, but I'm not outgoing. So this is a mindset you need to have in terms of, are you or are you not outgoing? Chances are you're going to notice when you really do look harder that you have exhibited the quality, the characteristic of being outgoing in the areas of your highest values. Truth number 2. Living and leading by your highest values is the path to confidence, right? And is both living and leading. When you're living it, it means you are prioritizing your days every day that is alignment with your highest values. When you're leading it, it means in the workplace as an executive or as a senior manager, and as you're stepping up into greater levels of leadership, you're leading your teams, you're leading your divisions, you're leading cross-functional teams in accordance with your highest values. When you live and lead that way, it is the path to confidence. Now, you may not start out confident in this journey, but if so long, the moment you are aligning your activities with your highest values, it's the path to confidence. Because if it is aligned with your highest values, you will naturally be good at it because you're inspired by what you do, you love what you do, and you're doing what you love. Also, at the same time, when it's aligned with your highest values, you will have the attention span to learn it, to discover it, to develop it as well. And you will also have the retention to remember the things that you have studied, because it is aligned with your highest values. It's genuinely what you value. So that's why it is the path to confidence, because you will have the dedication, you will have the time will pass you by, you're inspired by it as well, you're enthusiastic about what you are doing and studying and reading and developing and the skills that are included in it. So that's why it is the path to confidence. It is, and so long as you set goals and objectives that align with it, it is the path to confidence, to increasing your probability of achieving it, especially the more it is aligned with your highest values. So living and leading so is what brings confidence. And when you combine it with truth number one, that's what gives the combination of outgoing and confidence as well. So let's move on to the third truth. Truth number 3, expressing your authentic self expands your self-worth. And when you have self-worth, that is also the path to confidence, and it solidifies your ability to express yourself as well without being overly concerned about what other people think. So expanding your self-confidence, being able to express yourself within it, really is when you are the most empowered. It's also when you have the most power as well, because guess what? When you are your authentic self, you don't have a performance to make. This is when you are authentic, where you don't feel that you need to prove yourself, where you feel that you don't need to put on personas to pretend to be somebody you're not, and also where you don't feel you need to be like someone else or to imitate someone else or to emulate someone else, because you are your true authentic self. When you are authentic, this is when you truly value you. And when you value yourself, others value you as well. This is where you own your value and you understand the value that you are putting out there as well. So that's why it's important when you are really implementing this truth, right, expressing your authentic self, it really does follow through with the first 2 truths as well. So go back and review them, truth number 1, truth number 2, and this third truth really does follow from that, expressing yourself in your authentic self. And here's the thing, when it comes to being authentic, the requirement for being authentic is understanding what are your highest values. And especially when it comes to becoming an executive or higher levels of leadership, it's important to know what your values are, because when you are able to be clear on your own values, it becomes increasingly easier for you to understand what others value as well. And one of the most important skills to level up in your leadership and to become an executive at levels beyond where you are now, one of the most important skills is to be able to understand the higher ups, your colleagues, your managers, the stakeholders as well, all these workplace professional relationships, what every individual's value. Because that way, when you have relationships with them, stakeholders, collaborations, and so on, your communications are very spot on. And this is where others can understand the value you have to bring. Right? And so one of the biggest mistakes that I see professionals making is not quite understanding what they truly do value. And at the same time, it is very difficult to determining that, because this is never taught in school. So often we go through life, we go through our professional life, go through our education, believing that we value a thing, and we make decisions according to that, our beliefs of what we value, only to find out later in life that the choices we made earlier on don't quite make sense anymore, or they don't quite align with who we are, or we're not quite inspired with where that got us. And the result is, and the real cause is because we go through life believing we value a thing, but we don't actually value it. It's not actually high on our values. And so if you're somebody and you're listening to this and you're starting to realize, yes, this is important. I really do want to up-level the fulfillment I have in my career life as well. And you're wondering, how do I then, if I understand my own values, how then can I also appreciate others as well and make sure that there are no miscommunications? How can I ensure that my workplace relationships are meaningful as well? And you're somebody who values that skill, then I invite you to work with me. Every single week, I have trainings where I teach and coach executives on how to develop these skills, how to understand what your values are, and how to also appreciate the values of others. And that way you can communicate better, that way you can have more meaningful relationships, and that way you can increase your opportunities to step up in greater levels of leadership. So if you want to achieve these results for yourself, then I invite you to click on the link below this video in the description, and that is an application for you to just have a discovery call with either myself or a member of my team. And this is really to explore whether or not I can truly help you with what you're looking for, and also how this works, and I'll share with you all of the details on how this works. And if you are serious about this, then I invite you to work with me to be able to coach you, mentor you as well, to develop these skill sets, and also to improve upon your communications and experience greater levels of fulfillment in your career path. So click the link below, only if you're serious, and I look forward to working with you on the inside. And that leads us to truth number 4. And the fourth truth is that an expansive, vivid vision creates clarity of speech. Your vision. So what does expansive vision mean? Expansive means bigger than your goals. So here's what I mean by that. Let's say you want to influence your direct reports. You lead a team and you have a few people underneath you. Let's say you lead a team of 10 people. Those 10 are your direct reports. If you want to influence your direct reports, you need a vision the size of your division, right? And if you want to influence your community, let's say you have a community of people that you want to influence, then you need a vision the size of your whole city. That's how it works. Your vision is bigger than the group of individuals you want to influence. So that's an expansive vision. So what's a vivid vision? A vivid vision is one that is crystal clear. In your head, you can vision it exactly. What does the improved future that you want to create? What's the exact outcome? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What is the journey to get there? You have that vividness. So when your vision is both expansive and it is vivid, that's what creates clarity of speech. Now, how does it lead to clarity of speech? Because once you are clear on your vision and your vision is bigger than yourself, it is bigger than the individuals that you want to create, what happens then? You are truly inspired. And I'm talking about genuine inspiration, where you don't have to fake it, where it is genuine. And it also leads to intrinsic motivation, where you are intrinsically motivated to carry out that vision, right? That vision gives you goosebumps, right? You are completely aligned with it in terms of your highest values. That goes back to truth number 1. And so when all of these is true, then what happens is that you have clarity of speech because you are working towards it. You're intrinsically motivated to develop it, right? You're constantly sharing the vision because that's where you're most outgoing. You see how this works? And it all feeds back to clarity of speech. So that is truth number 4. And by the way, if what I'm saying with you resonates, and you are getting this, it's resonating with you, and you are really serious about developing this characteristic within yourself and also having clarity on who you are, then give me a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to my channel as well. Ring that bell below because every single week I upload videos on this topic and so much more. And by the way, I have one more bonus. So a bonus truth number 5, let's walk over there and I'll share that with you right away. Bonus truth number 5 is managed emotions quiets your brain noise. Quiets your brain noise. What do I mean by that? We have a lot of noise in our brain, right? These could be the multitude of thoughts when we're in a conversation with each other. And that brain noise causes our minds to go blank, causes us to trip up on what we have to say next, causes us to lose track of the conversation, especially when there's a dialogue happening in front of you. Sometimes we can miss out on parts of it because we have a lot of brain noise. And with that noise, it's difficult to know what to say next. It's difficult to articulate in an organized manner because of that brain noise. But let's look at the real cause of that brain noise. That real cause is emotions. Emotions can distract you. If you reflect on it, you'll see that it is true. When you have volatility of emotions, the more extreme your emotions are, the more volatile it is and the more that creates noise inside of our brain, right? And let me illustrate what I mean by that. When we are in front of executives, higher ups, and this is a meeting where we really want to be seen, be heard, be remembered as well, right? Be noticed by the people that are key to our professional development. This is where we can have a lot of desires to seek out their acceptance, desires to seek out their praise, right? And at the same time, we want to avoid their rejection. We want to avoid the loss of potential relationships with these individuals. And so there's a lot of impulses and instincts in that moment to want to be accepted and not want to be rejected. So in those, this creates a lot of emotions. And the more we desire to seek that which we want to seek, and the more we desire to avoid it, this is where the volatility of emotions are. And you've experienced this when you feel very distracted, how you're constantly worried about what other people think. And you might notice within yourself that the more that individual is important to you, the more you seek their acceptance and want to avoid that particular person's rejection, then the greater that distraction is, the emotional distraction of over concern about how they think. And so these are our impulses and instincts. So that's why the 5th truth, the bonus truth, is really key. When you manage your emotions effectively, this is what quiets the brain noise, and you no longer need to be concerned about what other people think. And by the way, if you want to know what the steps are, then that's exactly what I teach every single week inside of my coaching. And I shared earlier how to be involved in that. But I have another resource for you. If you want to take this training on the next step, I have another video coming up next, and this is how to have a great conversation. So just stay tuned for that. It's going to show up right next, and I'll see you there.